Hey guys, how we doing? So we're back on another Annie news video. I'm looking forward to this one. I love these Overlord videos that he does. They're just so good, they're so informative, and it's awesome. Some of you suggested this one. I'm intrigued. The Albedo conspiracy. Albedo's secret elite hit squad Overlord major cutscene theory. It's like, what? What? I have no clue. I've not read the light novels, so yeah, all the other Albedo videos have been really good. The Sisters one was cool to know about, and all the stuff that's been cut out. I like it when he goes into stuff that's been taken out of the anime, like with the cut content videos. I'm going to cover the recent Goblin Slayer cut content. Well, I've done episode 1 to... It was 1 to 3, wasn't it, the first one? Now he's done 4 to 6, I think that's what the next one is anyway. But anyway, until then, let's do this. The Albedo conspiracy.
Earlier this year, during the airing of Season 3, we put out 3 videos focusing on Albedo, specifically on her lore and background.
Very good videos. Check them out.
But more than a few viewers have pointed out a rather surprising omission from those videos, something that we here at Annie News have informally dubbed as the Albedo conspiracy.
Cool.
You see, we created the lore videos perhaps a little too early into the 3rd season, because there was an important scene coming up in the light novel that we didn't want to spoil.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, for some reason, this major scene was inexplicably cut from the anime, despite it actually being fairly significant and central to Albedo's character.
What was it?
But since the anime never covered the material, and we didn't include it under the assumption that it would, we've decided to make a supplementary video to explain what you missed.
Cool.
I'm gonna tell you now, though. It is entirely possible that they are planning on moving this scene to Season 4, if it ever comes out, even though they've already passed this event from the novels.
Right,
regardless,
so it might not happen.
Here's your obligatory spoiler warning.
Okay,
Though
spoilers.
I'm fairly certain it's just going to be cut entirely, and it's something that you'd miss anyway, even if you did decide to start reading the novels from where the anime ended.
Right.
But before we get into
the
the
Succubate t-shirts.
Don't forget that the Succubate
cool
merch is still
design.
available for purchase from the link in the description. Now, let's begin.
Alright.
The Albedo conspiracy. I'm sure you've noticed some rather curious behavior from Albedo over the course of Overlord's 3 seasons. But what do I mean by conspiracy? Is she not loyal to Ainz? As a general rule, Guardians and other NPCs show great deference and respect for the orders of the Supreme Ones.
They do.
Which manifests as unflinching and unquestionable obedience.
Unquestionable.
This is caused by a combination of a variety of factors. Probably the most important was that, as NPCs in a video game, they were programmed to dutifully obey the every command of their owners immediately and without question.
Right.
But even after they became living, thinking beings, they still see the guild members of Ainz Gon as their literal creators and gods.
Yeah.
Elite beings of unparalleled might and power that deserve nothing but respect and admiration. Their loyalty and obedience is so fierce that if Ainz makes a careless statement, the Guardians have no problem turning the whole world upside down just to make it happen. Outside of magical influence, Guardians will only ever argue with or oppose Ainz when it comes to matters of Ainz's personal safety. The Shouter situation is of course an example of both these incidences. But there are caveats to this general rule. Firstly, NPCs will prioritize the orders of their creator over that of the other guild members.
Right.
Secondly,
that makes
an
sense.
NPC's lore setting can override various aspects of their personality, including how their loyalty manifests itself, how loyal they really are, or how they demonstrate their loyalty.
Right.
For example, Pandora's actor takes a more relaxed approach to interacting with Ainz, whereas Sebas and other good-aligned NPCs will occasionally take difficulty in reconciling their good nature with Ainz's sometimes patently evil orders, though almost always, orders will trump their personal feelings and opinions. Even Eclair has an interesting approach. He clearly dreams of the day that he'll be in charge of Nazareth, not because he'd ever consider overthrowing Ainz, but rather because he was humorously written to believe that his efforts in diligently cleaning Nazareth will one day be rewarded with a prominent leadership position.
Right.
Even with this written into his lore, Eclair insists that he would never betray the Supreme Ones. It is perhaps interesting, then, that Albedo is the one Guardian who is most likely to betray Ainz one day. Wait.
What?
Hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves there.
Whoa.
As you are most likely aware, Ainz decided to write a joke into Albedo's lore profile, claiming that she was in love with Momonga, keyword being Momonga. This has resulted in some pretty unfortunate consequences for Ainz. See, for all he knew, the servers were being shut down in mere moments.
Yeah, so he's like, it doesn't matter, does it?
Would remain just that, a joke. But
Oh.
Ainz really liked his guildmates, and views the NPCs as their children. Not only because they work so hard on making them, but because the NPCs have subtle similar personality traits to that of their creators.
Yeah, they
As
reflect
such,
them, don't
he
they?
feels extremely guilty about basically ruining the Albedo that Tabula Smerdina created through
Yeah.
his own careless actions. And it's this guilt that makes him unable and unwilling to punish her when she goes too far.
Right.
I'm sure we all remember the scene from Season 3, Episode 1, when she attempts to have her way with Ainz.
Yeah, she's like, come on,
This
do
was
me.
merely the culmination after a long build-up. As an undead, Ainz lacks both the desire and ability to provide Albedo what she ultimately wants from him, which in turn causes her continual suffering, anxiety, and frustration. She tries her best to make herself appealing, but Ainz's combination of emotional suppression and guilt prevents him from ever acting on it. As such, she resorts to even more ridiculous and underhanded methods, like lying around in his bed all day to make it smell like her perfume.
Yeah.
Her sexual frustration also causes her guilt. What guilt might this be? Well, she wants Ainz to reciprocate her love, but she knows that she could never be his equal, and to have expectations of a Supreme One is in itself a form of disloyalty. To a normal servant of Nazarick, any thoughts that could even appear to be disloyal are themselves a crime.
Oh, wow,
If
okay.
a Supreme One doesn't want to do something, then as a dutiful servant of Nazarick,
You're meant to just
she
say
should
no.
just bow her head in respect and
Ooh,
accept that fact.
okay, interesting,
Meaning,
yes.
even having the desire that he love her back is, to Albedo, a betrayal, and every single thought of it is its own act of disloyalty.
Oof.
Once again, though,
Damn.
if Albedo is quite possibly the one NPC in all of Nazarick that loves Ainz the most, one who is so hypersensitive to any slight against him that she thinks wanting to be loved is a betrayal, wouldn't she be the last person to disobey him? Well, don't you think that the resulting frustration, anxiety, depression, and guilt that she feels would pose a genuine risk of clouding her judgment and reason? I
Definitely.
think that's a fair assessment.
Mm.
Despite, or perhaps because of her high intelligence, she's perfectly adept at self-delusion. Consider how easily she was able to twist Ainz's statement that he loved all of the NPCs equally into an excuse to pin him down to do what she desired with him. Ironically,
Yeah.
Albedo is one of the loudest voices calling for the immediate execution of any NPC who shows any sign that they've had even disloyal thoughts. And I'd argue this is because she seeks to repress her own anxiety and guilt. She is constantly at war with herself over her conflicting emotions of
God
loyalty
damn,
and
that
love.
must be bad.
Neither Ainz nor Albedo have healthy responses to the negative emotions they provoke in each other. Every time Albedo does something that Ainz finds distasteful, or he sees her suffering because of her love for him, he feels guilty for having changed her. Rather than correct her for misbehaving, he ignores or represses it, and keeps his mouth shut.
Yeah.
Albedo, on the other hand, fluctuates between crude outbursts of emotion and depressive self-loathing. She could very well be suffering from a serious case of bipolar disorder.
Definitely.
But is this all? Just some wild speculation over Albedo potentially going absolutely bonkers?
I'm guessing there's more to it than that.
Well, no. There's one other major aspect that we haven't covered yet, as well as the major cut scene. You see, Albedo's love for Ainz has had an unforeseeable consequence. She seems to outright hate the rest of the Supreme Ones.
Oh.
It's never outright stated that she does, but fan theories have pointed to this as the most reasonable interpretation of a particular scene.
Interesting.
Remember that surprising scene back in Season 2, where she finds the name Ainz ul Gom to be distasteful in some way? Well, it's not because she doesn't like Ainz. No, quite the opposite, actually. Ainz was angrily complaining about how he said he'd protect Suare in the name of Ainz ul Gom. Thus, the Eight Fingers kidnapping Suare betrays the oath that he swore, and in turn brings shame to the name of his guild. Albedo, by contrast, wasn't particularly heartbroken over the fact that the name Ainz ul Gom was being disrespected. She did not find Ainz himself distasteful either, but rather it was the name of Ainz. Remember, he had decided to change his old name from Momonga to Ainz ul Gom, and Albedo loves Momonga. For Ainz to just dismiss the name that she's inherently designed to love, in commemoration for the guildmates that she personally sees as having abandoned them, well, that didn't quite sit well with her.
Wow.
Which is why we see in Season 2 the guild flag stowed away in the corner and Momonga's personal flag on display. The first thing to look at is that Albedo frequently uses the word abandoned to describe how the other guild members left Ainz behind.
Right.
The word is, of course, loaded with the connotation that the act of abandonment itself was somehow mean or cruel.
A horrible
To
act.
Ainz, the guild members had trickled away one by one as their real-life obligations took priority. But to the servants of Nazarick, their sudden disappearances one day was as if their gods had gotten bored and vanished
Just
entirely.
disappeared, yeah.
NPCs like Demiurge took this to mean that the Supreme Ones had become unsatisfied with their creations in some way, and he used it as motivation to double his efforts, in order to reprove their competence and loyalty.
Yes.
Albedo,
To
on the
prove
other
their
hand,
worth.
has a lingering resentment for them. Even back when Ainz originally indicated that he would change his name, the light novel was foreshadowing this fact, as Albedo had objected to the name change with the rather curious excuse saying, "I feel that some of the supreme beings who abandoned us might object to that name being used by the one who stayed with us until now."
Oh.
Notice how she deliberately divides the supreme ones into Momonga, who stayed with us, and the rest of them, who abandoned us. It would have been far simpler for her to just say, perhaps some of the other supreme beings might object to you taking the name. But she goes out of her way to point out that they abandoned the NPCs while Momonga did not. Even so, how did her love for Momonga create this hatred for the rest of the Supreme Ones? Well, let's call it a woman's intuition that allows her to understand Ainz's feelings. He was quite depressed as a result of his friends leaving
Of course, yeah.
and the nostalgia for the
Sucks,
better
that.
days when he was having fun with them led to an obsession of them after entering the New World. So, on the surface, Albedo will refer to them in disparaging tones, not because she feels that they abandoned the NPCs, but because, deep down, she believes they abandoned Ainz, the man that she is so madly in love with.
right.
She blames them for Ainz's mental suffering and anguish. She has picked up on the patterns of his decisions, and noticed the same things that we as the audience did, and that's that he protects Nazarick because it serves as a testament to his friends' accomplishments.
Yeah.
That he loves the NPCs because they remind him of his guildmates.
friends, yeah.
That his decisions are often informed by, what would my fellow guildmates think? Maybe even that he feels guilty for forcing her to love him as part of her lore settings. Something that will most likely not change so long as he is still bound by his friendship to Tabula Smaragdina. And most importantly, Albedo notices how the former guildmates serve as a potential weakness to Ainz, perhaps even his greatest weakness. Which finally brings us to the cutscene that I mentioned at
Right,
the
come
beginning.
on, what was this?
It occurs shortly after the workers' invasion into Nazarick.
Oh, right, okay.
Ainz is reviewing the financial burden that the defenses and traps imposed. Albedo decides to approach him with a proposal. She wishes to put together a unit, one that's dedicated to searching for the existence of other Supreme Ones. After all, Hecarim, one of the workers, had claimed to have been working on behalf of one of the Supreme
Yes, he
Ones.
did.
And while Ainz was interested in finding them, he had been procrastinating. His excuse had been that he had lacked sufficient agents who could pass for humans and search for them. But the truth behind that was that he was afraid of scouring the globe and then finding nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
Ainz didn't want to waste Albedo's time, whose administrative responsibilities were vital to the day-to-day operations of Nazarick. But Albedo claims that no other guardian could be trusted with this duty. If a different guardian encountered their creator, they might abandon their duties to Nazarick, or let their emotions
Right,
get
but
the
because
best.
she's in love with him.
Remember, the guardians would put the orders of their own creators above,
Above,
everything
yeah.
else. Ainz's authority would no longer be absolute. So the unit she proposed would be led by herself and Pandora's actor, and would be kept secret from the other guardians.
Oh, wow.
I mean, if the others caught word of the existence of another Supreme One, potentially their own creator, they might just rush off to find them,
Yeah, they
rather
would,
than
wouldn't
acting
they?
prudently and diligently.
Damn.
Pandora's actor was a being created by Ainz, and is therefore most loyal to him. Albedo, on the other hand, insisted that she would be able to keep herself under control, and Ainz trusted her in that respect. She also requested 15 other level 80 undead summons, created personally by Ainz.
Right.
Ainz would not summon any beings that would require the expenditure of XP, but he would give her the most powerful units he could that were still effectively free. Then she requested to take her younger sister Rubedo, not only the most powerful NPC in Nazarick,
Wow.
but also arguably powerful enough to defeat any and all of the Supreme Ones, including Ainz. I mean, she is said to be created using a unique process different from other NPCs.
Right.
And she was very instrumental in stopping the 1,500-man invasion of Nazarick. Because of this, Ainz knew Rubedo was extremely dangerous, and didn't want to risk another Shaltir incident.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he would want her to stay on floor 8 where she could be defeated, if she were to ever choose to turn against Nazarick. When questioned on why Rubedo was necessary, Albedo claimed that her true motivation was to put together a dream team of the most powerful units in Nazarick, and Ainz, being so amused by this childish desire, relented and accepted the request. The supportive reasoning being this elite group under her command could also be needed should Nazarick ever encounter hostile players.
Right.
And so, the Albedo task force came to be. Now, finding the Supreme Ones was the goal on the surface, but as fans theorize,
She wants to
Albedo
kill
may
them.
have some different, more nefarious motivations.
Yeah, she
for
wants to
this
get rid
team.
of them.
Much less a task force and more of a hit squad. Remember, this was after the workers had invaded Nazarick, and a key scene during this was Ainz losing his temper.
Yeah.
Albedo most likely noticed that the mere mention of the Supreme
mention
Ones
of one of them,
was
yeah.
enough to rattle Ainz, causing an outburst of emotion and clouding his judgment. Just hinting at the existence of the Supreme Ones was enough to give Hecarim leverage over Ainz, even if it was just for a brief moment. Ainz was even willing to humor his statement, despite its abject implausibility. It's from this that Albedo saw the Supreme Ones as a weakness to Ainz, and something needed to be done about it. And so, in the moments that she's requesting this team, she betrays Ainz by repeatedly lying to his face. Why was she lying? Because, as fans theorize, the true purpose of the team was to be a hit squad, to hunt down and exterminate any other guild members who may have also made their way to the New World, to eliminate them before they can even meet Ainz, and to lie to Ainz by claiming that no other Supreme Ones were ever found.
She's mental.
That way, he will eventually abandon the hope of ever meeting them again, and simply forget about them, causing the weakness that stems from them to eventually dissipate.
Wow.
As we had mentioned earlier, just about the only time NPCs are able to directly object to Ainz's proposals is when it concerns matters of Ainz's personal safety. So what happens when it gets to the point of lying to his face, defying his orders, and opposing his desires, all to just protect him? Could an NPC ever do that? Most likely no, but as I hope this video has proven, Albedo is no normal NPC.
No, she's not.
Ainz's combination of excess trust and guilt towards Albedo results in her getting away with certain things. Albedo is exploiting that trust and leniency, and taking it as a license to do what she thinks is best, even if she ultimately hates herself for doing so. Or rather, it's because she hates herself for being so disloyal and unworthy in so many smaller ways that she can ultimately accept being disloyal in such a significant one. Perhaps Albedo has accepted herself, and resolved to move forward with grim determination. After all, if Sebas, Pistonia, and Negredo are allowed to get away with defying orders, and if a cleric can sit there and so disrespectfully plan the days when he'll run all of Nazarick, just because Ainz believes that's the way that they were created to be, then isn't it okay for Albedo to love Ainz, hate the rest of the Supreme Ones, and do what she feels is best for her brother? Even if she does have to keep it a secret, even if it can destroy their entire relationship, perhaps even result in her own execution if caught. Well, as the saying goes, you always hurt the ones you love the most.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can probably see why we were really confused with the removal of this scene from Season 3, or why it might have been saved for a possible Season 4.
I mean, they could still stick with the idea of it.
It's a crucial part of Albedo's character arc. I mean, why have that scene back in Season 2 where she scoffs at the Ainz Orgon name if you're not going to follow it up with the even more important scene regarding the formation of Albedo's Supreme One assassination team?
Yeah.
Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I also want to point out that this entire video is just speculation, and none of it may ever come to pass. It's
still a cool idea, though. It's awesome. She wants to hunt down the Supreme Ones to kill them.
You might read the light novels yourself and come away with an entirely different interpretation of what kind of person she is. Maruyama writes Overlord like a mystery story, something that the anime repeatedly strips away, and he routinely leaves clues about important events hiding in plain sight. He also likes to troll his readers, or plays with their expectations.
Right.
So maybe all these clues are just a red herring, and I'm reading too much into it. Still,
Maybe.
it's a popular enough theory that a lot of Overlord fans think it's true, and we've attempted to give it a little bit more weight by psychoanalyzing Albedo. So we hope you found it interesting. Now before I go, once again, let's appreciate this fine character with the Succubate merch, available from the link in the description. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this type of anime content, then you already know what to do.
Cool.
So, until next time.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Yeah. That was, oh wow. What an idea. What's so cool. She loves him so much that she wants to get rid of any kind of, like, pain that the thoughts of the Supreme Ones brings. And so, to go out and find them and get rid of them so he doesn't have to think about them anymore. Wonder whether they're out there. Ooh. And because of all that, she can actually lie to him, which is something an NPC shouldn't be able to do. It's like, what? What? I'm mad. So yeah, that's a cool conspiracy. I'll do the Goblin Slayer cut content next. I think that'll be a good one. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos, and I'll see you guys. It's all you guys. Nails down.